What's up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 3 of Southern Draw. Thank you for joining us, your new go-to sports podcast, where we're lucky to have you here today to listen to us. I'm here joined with my co-host Rod and our producer Nick. How we doing today, boys?
Doing good, yeah.
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Very enthusiastic,
Episode 3. Hopefully we'll continue to keep making some improvements from episode to episode. Our audio was way better in the last episode.
Yeah, so much better. So hopefully, we'll keep tweaking things here and there every time we record, and hopefully just keep getting better and better to give you guys a better experience every time you listen.
Rod, what you get up to this weekend? Anything exciting?
Absolutely nothing. We're deep in the grind to get certified for my job, but taking that on Tuesday, the test for it, and then we'll be done and free at last. Skipped my graduation, not but not too upset about that. Did not have to go.
Did you walk in for our actual college graduation? Did you go back after the COVID stuff and walk?
Yeah, I went back. Well, I mainly went back to walk to get the picture. But then I proposed to my now wife the same day, so it kind of worked out to where we were able to do both things.
Gotcha.
Nick, what'd you get up to?
Not too much. Went to the driving range Friday, which was miserable. I fucking hate golf. Not too much. Took it easy. Watched Happy Gilmore last night, which was kind of like the marrying of my two new interests of hockey and golf. So that was good. Another Adam Sandler classic. Shooter McGavin, shooter. So
Yeah, I can't lie. I've never seen Happy Gilmore all the way
What the fuck
through.
is wrong with you?
There's several movies like that I haven't seen. Like I've never seen Step Brothers all the way through. Never seen Borat. We talked about that a couple days ago.
How do you start Step Brothers and not finish it though? It's like one of the greatest comedies ever.
Looks like you catch it on TV sometimes, but I don't know. That was
Never sat down just to watch Step Brothers?
no, never have. Which is
Disgusting.
I know I need to sit down and just like one weekend and just watch all these like cult classic movies, but I haven't gotten to that yet. So
Matt, what about you?
Cinco de Mayo party on Friday. Had a bunch of food going. One of my friends and some other people making food. We did a little grocery run before. We thought there was gonna be more people, so I started drinking early before I went there. I probably had like 9 Pacificos before like 10 o'clock, and then 2 old fashions, and then I walked home and played some games with Nick and our Duffy McCat. We had some grinds on Rocket League, some late night, and woke up the next day and am still getting over a hangover from Friday because now hangovers are now 2 days long instead of 1.
shout out Duffy McCat, one of our loyalist supporters. We love that guy.
Duffy McCat's a day one, and he's gonna get some play later in the episode. So
Y'all want to jump into it?
yeah, let's get started. I think the biggest news for us, all three being Auburn guys, is Peyton Thorne has signed with Auburn, Michigan State transfer quarterback. In his time at Michigan State, he threw 49 touchdowns to 24 interceptions, so about a 2-to-1 ratio, and just over 6,500 yards. What are our initial reactions, boys?
He also broke Kirk Cousins' single season passing touchdown record.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Single season, second all time for passing yards, for passing touchdowns, same thing, second all time in a season, fourth in career yards and second in career passing touchdowns. I mean, this guy, I am really, really excited that we landed him. I mean, I think he is an immediate upgrade over everyone in Auburn's quarterback room.
That's what I've been trying to explain. It's like everyone viewing this from the outside. I guess it's kind of like Big Ten fans. They're like, why are fans getting so excited? We know we're not getting like a Bryce Young or a Cam Newton or shit like that. It's just like this guy is that much of an upgrade from what we actually have in our QB room. So we just went from like D+ in QBs to a C+, B-, possibly B on a good day. But I mean, his ball placement's ridiculous in this plays where it's actually worked. And Michigan State's been kind of like things kind of started to sink pretty fast in this past year. So maybe a change of scenery is what is needed, considering they've had a lot of key contributors leave. I think that's more so a reflection on the culture that is currently in place. in East Lansing in the football program rather than these players not being good and transferring away to try to be good again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very interesting how the recruiting worked for Peyton Thorne too, because like on episode 2, we talked about how we thought Casey Thompson was pretty much a done deal at Auburn. He was locked in that visit. And then it kind of came out that Peyton Thorne was held in higher regard by the staff, still had Thompson come to campus. There was no real news or buzz of a potential commitment from Thompson. And then you get the Thorne stuff leaking. Hugh Freeze holds him as the top guy, and then just graduated and signed like 30 minutes later.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of shocked how quickly it turned, but I wasn't upset about it because I wasn't really hot on Casey Thompson, and I think Thorne is definitely. You could say Casey Thompson may be better for the 2023 season, but with Thorne having 2 years of eligibility left, I mean he can really act as a bridge for Freeze to the next quarterback. Really Freeze's guy that he can mold from a freshman all the way up.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
the corner.
and with something about Casey Thompson that's interesting is something we saw with Zach Calzada last year when he came in. He was coming in off an injury. Thompson's coming in off an injury as well, and we got burned by Calzada last year. Didn't really play, never played a snap for us. So Thorne's healthy. He's going to come slide right in at QB1 and really raises the ceiling of Auburn in general. Certainly the quarterback room. I mean, like you said, Matt, way better than anything we had at all.
Auburn, I was like, all signs point in the direction of this guy's QB1. Now I still think there'll be packages for Robbie, or barring hopefully not an injury or anything like that, but it's going to be Peyton Thornton's team, and he's the cornerstone, like we were saying, to bridge into the next era, which most likely will be the Walker White era on the Plains.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. I mean, I don't think there's any debate, and I think Robbie is just such a raw talent. Freeze will find a way to get him on the field in one way or the other. And it's cool. It'll be great to have a backup that's as versatile as Robbie is. I don't think, his attitude. He was coming into it. He tweeted out that iron sharpens iron. So I don't think he's scared of any kind of competition like that. So I think it's good for both sides. It'll make both those guys better to compete. But like you said, Matt, I don't think it's any debate that I think Thorne is. He's definitely he's QB1.
True. And for Robbie, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to figure this out now, especially with just how the college football landscape and world is. But what Robbie would have 3 years remaining. So if he did want to stay and take that true competition, or if Peyton really does do 1 year, which I doubt. I mean, I'm just speaking in hypotheticals here, but if Robbie waited 2 years and he had that third year, maybe that's his year to thrive under the Freeze offense, battle an incoming freshman for that spot, or well, would be redshirt freshman at that point. But I don't know. I hope he stays. I like his work ethic and mentality. I think it really embodies the kind of teammate you need when you're restarting a culture within a football program that highly like Auburn.
Yeah, if Thorne is only here for 1 year, that means things went very, very well. Things went very well. And I think we'll see Robbie will see the field, I think, in package plays. I mean, Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss liked running package plays with like Barry Brunetti and guys like that. He's just creative offensive mind. You'll try to find a way to get a very dynamic playmaker on the field. I mean, Robbie, he's the kind of guy, the speed he has, he just take one cut and he can be gone. So I think Hugh Freeze will utilize him some. And I think that'll incentivize Robbie Ashford to stay and try to keep on developing as a passer. So I think it's a win-win for everyone involved in that quarterback room. Holden Geriner, I'm interested to see what he does.
He needs to transfer for honestly, I would do it now, because with Walker White coming in, like I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Geriner has potential to be a good college quarterback, but it seems like with the change in regime at Auburn that he's kind of the odd man out.
He just got put in it was the bad situations. It looked good at first, and then it just ended up not happening for him. Like, it's not like his fault of him being bad. He's just not going to ever get a chance to really prove himself.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, like you're saying, if for some reason we only have 1 year with Thorne, things are going to have to go well, and for things to go well, we've Auburn's got to surround Thorne with a little bit more talent, and it looks like that's what's going to be happening. Received the commitment and signing of Caleb Burton, Ohio State receiver transfer, which is huge, and I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. That wasn't
I
really
did not think that was going to happen at all.
so huge pickup there. Potential number one receiver for Auburn at a huge position of need. And then there's rumors of several other guys, such as Keon Coleman, obviously teammate of Peyton Thorne's at Michigan State. I don't think it's likely that he comes to Auburn, but I think it is likely that Jair Shorter and Montana Lamoni's Craig from North Texas and then from Colorado. It sounds like Auburn's going to pick up both of those two guys. So big gets if that's true.
Yeah, that's huge. With Burton, you just have to trust Ohio State's wide receiver evaluation out of high school. I mean, the guys that they've had and pumped out straight to the NFL, you take anyone that they decided was good enough to give a scholarship, really. So that's a win. And I mean, Auburn's wide receiver history is not very good, as we're all aware. So all three of these guys, if land the other two, it's going to be probably the best wide receiver core we've had in a very long time.
Yeah. Was it 1999 was our last 1,000-yard receiver?
Yeah.
That's depressing.
But I mean, with those three guys, and then you've got Camden Brown and Javarius Johnson,
Rivaldo Fairweather, tight end.
Fairweather at tight end. I mean, that
He'll be our best
five
receiver.
is outstanding. Yeah. Yeah. Fairweather may be the best guy of the entire group, but I mean, it's just the amount of talent that Freeze has been able to bring in across the offense. I mean, immediate upgrades at basically every single position. I mean, running back, obviously, Jarquez Hunter returns. But with the loss of Tank Bigsby, I don't think there's going to be much drop off at running back. There may actually be improvement with the improved offensive line. So
there will be the running back room by committee as well. There's just so much talent in there.
Yeah. Auburn's offense is looking night and day from last year. So
yeah, I know we were talking about it. There's potential to be anywhere from 6 to 8 newcomers who are starting on offense for Auburn next year, which, I mean, we all watched the offense last year being pretty horrible. So just bringing in new talent and shaping up a brand new offense, new staff, new ideas. I think that the offense has a chance to really surprise a lot of people this year and be pretty solid.
And I mean, Freeze said it in his introductory press conference when he was asked how quickly he thought they could turn around. He said through the portal, he thought he could get it done quickly. Obviously, on paper, it looks really good right now. The games still have to be played in the fall, but Auburn is not going to be as destitute as people think.
But it's gonna stay that way until it's not. Like the media, like world around it is still, there's still people, like even with the additions, that are like saying we're gonna win 5 games max, like with everything that's happening, which is just funny which we can get more into when we go into the win totals. But I just find it funny with a team last year that barely missed a bowl game. That was probably our worst team in a decade. People are saying our team that's going to be better this year is going to be worse than them with our schedule.
Yeah.
Anytime you get rid of Brian Harsin in general, you're going to do better than you did the year before. So not too concerned with those takes.
Yeah, we're loving the Freeze era so far. I think we're all kind of in agreement that it is a vast improvement over the previous coaching staff.
Yeah. Brian Harsin, I think, was hired by like an outside firm or someone paid Alan Green to hire Brian Harsin under the table so he could try to kill our football program. Because I've never seen someone be so bad at their job. You can't go into this means he wasn't even recruiting at Boise State. Like Boise State was under Peterson, and then the shift once he went to Washington, then Harsin started coaching there. The recruiting started to fall off. Like all the signs were just under the dirt. No one had gone under the dirt. If you go back and look at Boise State, and he kind of knocked Boise State step down from always being that premier Group of 5 school, and they just went to Auburn and
blew it up. I think we're all optimistic about Peyton Thorne. We got our hopes up about Casey Thompson, who it seems like it's now a done deal. Essentially, I mean, we said it was a done deal by him to Auburn last episode, but to FAU with Tom Herman, which I think is a great fit. We've mentioned in episode 1, FAU has a lot of good things going for it, and Casey Thompson at that level has a chance to be elite, I think.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's a great fit back with his former head coach from Texas. I mean, against that type of competition, he'll thrive. I mean, yeah, it's a great place for him
You're
to
not,
go and just kind of get one last good year of tape before he decides to do whatever he's going to do.
I'm pretty sure I'm correct though, but they're not in the CUSA anymore. I'm pretty sure they moved the American.
Oh, did they?
So it'll be a little bit different of a season. Let me make sure that's correct. Yeah, FAU, Charlotte, FAU, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and UTSA are all to the American.
Well, I mean, still, that's
It won't be though like the CUSA years when Kiffin and all the other guys were there, where they were winning like 10 or 11 games, but it'll be a lot. I think he'll still be good, but it'll be tougher. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a step down from what he's used to, what he's played before.
His team will probably be better than the Nebraska team he had anyways. So
yeah,
probably.
My question for y'all, Tom Herman centered, is you guys remember the P chart that he had at Texas of the different colors,
the
running it down from
chart or whatever,
clear to like dark brown, with like, I think the worst one on dark brown was like bad guy.
Where do we think Casey Thompson ranks on this chart?
Oh man, going from Nebraska to the beach, I mean, he's got to get used to the sun. He's gonna have to hydrate a little bit more. I can see him being, like a solid teammate on there, but not like, I think, do you guys remember what the top one was? It was like,
I'll Google it.
it's like, oh man,
Herman P chart.
All right, I've got it.
Championship hydration levels.
Yeah,
and it's like the top 3. Selfish teammate is 4 and 5. Bad guy or 6 and 7, and then Club Dave is the bottom.
Hey, so maybe Casey Thompson's in that championship level color.
Hold on, wait. I think UTSA did one too to rip off from it. If you get
makes me
number
laugh
1
so hard when I hear bad guy.
If you get 1 on the Roadrunner football hydration chart, if you have the best version of P, you went 1-0 and you won the day. 2, you were perfect effort or selfless. 3, you have integrity. 4, you are a selfish teammate. 6 and 7, you are mentally and physically weak. 8, you're juiceless and useless.
Useless and useless.
Make a fist and pound it every day. Juiceful and useful. Championship mindset. Roadrunner football.
So we need to just start posting on the Substack just our P levels, where we stand.
Weekly hydration charts.
Friday, Matt, I think you were a bad guy.
I might have been juiceless and useless on Friday.
Hopefully Tom Herman uses that again. That would be very funny.
I would be a full supporter of FAU if I saw the P chart again.
They should make shirts with the P chart on it on the back.
What would the front of the P chart shirt say?
P chart? I don't know.
Just have on the pocket just like a little like drug testing like P cup.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, I mentioned him earlier, Keon Coleman. Obviously, there were some rumors that he was visiting Auburn, and he may take a visit. But I say I think he's more than likely to end up at Florida State, which is where he visited this past weekend. And if he does end up there, the combination with Johnny Wilson, there's FSU's receiver who he's like 6'7", and Keon Coleman is like 6'4". So that combination for Jordan Travis to throw to, I mean, I'm already high on Florida State this year. I think they're a playoff sleeper. They're certainly going to compete for the ACC, but adding a weapon like that it just takes their offense to an even higher level. So I think Florida State, but Auburn could make a last gasp, but we'll see.
It's going to be FSU.
Yeah, I think it's going to be FSU as well. There's last I read was potentially he's visiting Auburn tonight, or tomorrow, but I think it's a foregone conclusion he's going to be at Florida State next year. And that combination of receivers is insane. It's legitimate, just throw it up type players that you have.
So that'll be fun to watch if he does end up there, but I hope Auburn gets him, obviously. But
Yeah.
so that pretty much covers college football news. NFL news, really not much going on with the NFL. Jordan Love got re-signed to a 1-year contract extension with the Packers. Just kind of what they had to do with him. Can't let him walk after next year, no matter how he plays this year. You're kind of locked in with him. And then Randall Cobb signed with the Jets, so it's the New York Packers just trying to keep Aaron Rodgers happy, I guess, which is smart, but not too much on the NFL front.
Yeah. Jordan Love, I admire his hustle of just getting paid a lot of money to do nothing. I should have tried harder in sports, because if I was a backup quarterback like him, you get money to live the rest of your life. Even if he sucks, he's got like, what is it, 10 million guaranteed?
Yeah, it was like 10 or 11 million guaranteed. And I mean, he's set for life on that alone. So even if he sucks, he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. New York Packers is funny. We all knew it would happen. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is essentially playing front office. Randall Cobb doesn't move the meter. He just probably wants one of his friends to hang out with.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't tried to sign Mercedes Lewis, because they said he's going back to the Packers. And then I'm just waiting for a trade for David Bakhtiari.
What about Jordy Nelson?
He going to come out of retirement?
Just have him come be like a sideline coach, just to stand there and hang out with Aaron during the games.
Analyst Jordy Nelson. So that'd be funny.
Just bring the boys to New York, hang out, play some football.
But NFL, not too much. So
no,
Yeah,
it's nice. It's nice to get out of like just the NFL news cycle was really heavy with the draft and all the moves. It was just beaten down everywhere you'd look. There was NFL news, so it's good to get a little break, refresh on some other sports that are more interesting. Actually, having games played and talk about those instead of just players moving around.
Yeah, moving on. So talk about the playoffs NBA wise. How do we feel about the Warriors end up dominating the Kings?
That was sad. We all came out pretty confident about the Kings. The beam was not lit.
Sad. I thought they had it, but that experience came out. Shouldn't have doubted the Warriors. I mean, it's just kind of they do their thing.
Yeah.
We
should have known better.
Yeah. It was the same thing with the Grizzlies. It was just the young, inexperienced team kind of together going up against the vets who have done it multiple times that everyone's just waiting to eventually fold.
Yeah. So they got past the Kings in there. The Lakers series is interesting. I watched game 3 last night. I hate watching the NBA, but the Lakers really destroyed them. It was never really close. I think the Warriors had an 11-point lead at one point early that they blew, and it was just no one can stop Anthony Davis when he's on. He's just a monster on the boards. The physicality is not there for the Warriors. Draymond can't hold up to AD. They're just I'm interested to see how the series plays out, because I could see it just being back and forth with them just beating the shit out of each other.
That's what I think. I think it goes 7, but that the Lakers win because of what you're saying, Anthony Davis. And then, I mean, assuming the Nuggets make it past the Suns, which it looks, I mean, the Suns evened it up, but it looks likely that matchup of Jokic and Anthony Davis in the conference finals is going to be like must watch TV.
You know what's going to happen if that happens? Game 1, like 4 minutes in, AD's ankle's just going to shatter.
Yeah, he gets hurt.
That's what's going to happen.
5 or 6 times a game. And yesterday he got like poked in the eye and like went down flailing. And it's like, for someone who's so big and so physical, I don't understand how he just ends up on the floor so much.
I think he's soft, but he's also just like I don't know. He knows how big he is and everything, but like, and he is injury prone, out of his control. But also on top of that, I think he's just kind of soft in general.
I couldn't be a Lakers fan and have to deal with that, because every time he falls to the ground, you're like, oh, well, Anthony Davis is out for the next 3 games.
Yeah, season's
That would be
over.
terrible.
Something that a reason I do think the Lakers are going to advance, their role players are playing really well. Austin Reeves, I was very unfamiliar with his game. He's good. He's very good. D'Angelo Russell has been really good, shooting well from 3. Vanderbilt's really good on defense. He can't hit a shot to save his life. They left him open all game yesterday, but that didn't end up mattering. It's really going to take, the Warriors are just led from the top. You know, Steph and Clay, when they're on, you can't beat them. When they're off like they were last night, it's pretty easy to take it to them. So
Yeah. I want the Warriors. I want both teams to lose, but I would rather the Warriors lose just because I don't like Draymond, but also I hate just Klay Thompson's demeanor. So I want to see him sad walking back to the locker room after they lose and just enjoy him being sad.
yeah. As much LeBron hating as we do, it is very impressive at his age what he's doing, and I think it would be cool to see them go on a run.
I do not want to see that. I would like to see him knocked out of the playoffs immediately. But I don't know. I think they win this series, but I think they lose in the conference finals.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This is just a weird NBA playoffs because I think the Nuggets finally get there and get to the West. They weren't in the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago, were they? When they came back on the Clippers, it was 3-1 or something. Was that to advance to the WCF?
You're asking the wrong people, I think.
I'm pretty sure they were in the Western Conference Finals in the bubble year.
Okay, but it'll be interesting because they actually it's almost kind of lining up where this could finally be the year that they get there. But it could also easily just them. It's Murray. It's him finally being available against good teams, and when he's a stud.
It's not done though. I mean, the Suns, they got one back. Devin Booker is playing out of his mind right now. The box score the other night was hilarious with Booker and Durant having all the points.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The fact that you can't. I don't understand. That's the one part of basketball I don't get is when something like that's going on, just double team him and let a random dude just start shooting. I don't care if he's wide open. I'd rather have a random dude shoot a wide open shot than let Booker just run around and do his game one-on-one.
Yeah, but there's also this guy named Kevin Durant.
Well, him too. Just let the guys just stay open. Just double team 4 players on 2 guys and let the other guys be open. Then just foul them if they try to get an open basket.
Yeah, that's in the same vein as I was texting y'all about it last night. I've always wondered my entire life why teams don't just have a designated puncher.
Yeah, just hurt somebody
and punch the best player on the other team. You get kicked out.
Get them in a fight, and if they retaliate,
yeah. What do you have to lose? You can cover the fines. That just put it in their contract. Designated puncher.
The problem there is then the organization looks bad, and then you get fired, and then it's unethical, I guess.
Yeah, but what's good is championships.
That's true. Winning cures all bad things. So
by any means. So
yeah.
Sure.
Other series that's been very interesting is Sixers Celtics. Sixers, Joel Embiid got his MVP. They ended up dropping that game. They've really haven't looked great since game 1 when they didn't have Embiid. James Harden absolutely took over, hit the game-winning shot. It looked like Rockets Harden, which Rod was infatuated with.
Yeah, I'm a big James Harden stan. I've always liked him just because everyone else hated him. And he was vintage Harden in game 1, looked incredible. That game-winning shot was peak Harden. It just the step back, the way he shot it, that's Harden. But since then, he has been absolutely abysmal. It seems like he's better without Embiid because when Embiid plays, he's relegated as kind of a facilitator, which is kind of the role he's been trying to play. But as a pure scorer, I think he's better, but that just doesn't work with what the Celtics do. Or not the Celtics, the 76ers. So,
yeah, game 4 is tipping literally as we talk. So when this comes out, we'll know what happened in game 4, but it's getting scary for the Sixers. I think they got to have it today. They got to have it today if they want to make the series.
Get spanked again, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
the Celtics are in a completely different mode now after after getting railed game one. I
Yeah,
just don't see the team as a whole being able to compete with Boston.
yeah, Boston teams never lose after going up 3-1, do they, Matt?
No, they don't. Not in basketball.
Yeah, I'm the Celtics look really good right now, and I'm a little skeptical of what's occurring in the NBA playoffs right now. It seems with the free throw disparities with LA and the Warriors, I think the Lakers have shot double the amount of free throws in the series as the Warriors. And then the NBA's PR Twitter account tweeted out, 30 days until the finals. Fun fact: the Celtics and the Lakers both have 17 championships. So I think there's something a little funky going on where they want that matchup in the finals and to break the tie of 17. And then obviously it would be kind of symbolic with Bill Russell passing away and the retirement of 6 to have those two teams playing against each other. But something to watch for.
Yeah, I've long held the opinion the NBA is rigged. So I'm with you. It's too convenient. It makes too much sense. Yeah, so like I mentioned, Matt, Boston team's never losing after going up 3-1. Your Bruins, they blew it.
Yep.
Um,
Again.
again, you said you had a flag come in today for the Bruins, which is hilarious because they
Yeah, I
choked
ordered
that.
it at the beginning of the series, and then I got it yesterday, and now I just have it, and I was just kind of like it like reminded me again, I was just like kind of enjoying the Stanley Cup playoffs again. And then I opened that up and I was like, fuck. And it just kind of put me down. And I was sad, but then I started getting to watch the games again, and it's making me feel better because the Leafs are getting their ass spanked by the Panthers right now. There's honestly doesn't look like a hotter team in hockey, which is very I don't understand what's going I understand what's going on, but it just blows my mind that it's happening. I'm getting some Nashville Predators kind of vibes that the Preds had a few years back where they made the run to the cup as the 8th seed out of the West. But this is just it's so weird because to me, I'm not trying to like hate on a bunch of the other teams because there's a lot of talented teams in the West. It's just a different style of hockey. But the East is just so much harder. There's more good teams. And I just don't know how the Panthers are everything's working perfect. The team hockey blows my mind. And I think they just kind of punched the Maple Leafs in the mouth. And then they had that huge thing, you finally break through and you figured it kind of would like relax the fan base or the team. And I feel like maybe it relaxed them too much. And they were kind of like, oh, thank God Boston lost. We get to play Florida. Perfect. This is a great matchup. People are like, is it the Leafs year? And I was like, maybe this worked out perfect. And then the Panthers just literally shove them to the ground and beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, I know. After the Leafs advanced, they were chanting, "We want Florida." I aligned myself with the Leafs, like
They
I
had
said.
signs.
Yeah, getting finally committed my allegiance to the Toronto Maple Leafs. They immediately go down 2-0 to the Florida Panthers, and the Leafs went up 2-0 in Game 2, like straight off the bat, and then blew the lead immediately.
That's
Um,
that's the
it's
Panthers.
it's must win right now. They got to
Yep.
get Game 3. If they don't get Game 3, they're going to get swept, I think.
If they get game 3, I don't think it'll be a 5-game series.
You think a gentleman
It's so
sweep?
hard. It's so hard to sweep in hockey. It's too much. But honestly, one that I think will be a sweep that I originally thought would be 5, which this isn't surprising me because I remember texting you, Nick, when the Devils won that game 7 against the Rangers, and you were like, just keep winning, which is right. But I was like, the Devils, what they did is great, but I don't know how long they can keep this going with this core. They're maybe like 2 years out. And that's looking exactly like the case, which this was the same thing that happened in round 1, though. But you're not playing the New York Rangers anymore, who play zero defense. You're playing the best defense that remains in the playoffs. You're playing the team that gave up the second least amount of goals behind the Bruins in the regular season. The Hurricanes, speaking of the devil, they just kicked off, or not kicked off, they just dropped the puck for that game. But I think Hurricanes take a 3-0 lead today. That Carolina's just clicking on all cylinders. They're at category 5 right now in danger. They're gonna win that series.
Yeah. I mean, you told me before I'd watched a Hurricanes home game to rock you like a hurricane. The vibes they bring is just elite. I think it's not going to be close. I am. I'm loving hockey right now. Every day I've been getting off work and looking forward to the next playoff game. I've really been enjoying watching the Oilers play. Last night they just destroyed Vegas. It was 4-0 in the first period. Power plays, you can bank on them scoring. McDavid is just unreal, as is
Draisaitl has
Draisaitl's
13
unstoppable.
goals in 7 games. So
Yeah. If there's a power play, it's going to be a goal. You just
Mhm.
if you're a Golden Knights fan, as soon as you give up a penalty, you just have to be on the edge of your seat, just waiting for it to go in the back of the net.
That's the funny thing for them though. The Knights were the least penalized team going into this series in the NHL. So it's like you got the best special teams up against the best penalty killing, and or not even allowing penalties. But this was what I was trying to say, the difference between West and East Coast hockey. Almost as East Coast, it's brutal. Like it's physical. It's physical hockey, which hockey's physical in general. But out on the West, you're seeing these scores. Besides the Carolina game, they just beating the crap out of New Jersey. But you're seeing games averaging like the Kings, Oilers. It's like 5-4 every freaking game, and then you're seeing the same thing with the Kraken and the Stars, and then you're seeing the same thing with the Knights and the Oilers. And even when the Avalanche were playing the Kraken, you're just seeing a lot. There's so much scoring. It's kind of like it almost is the same kind of thing in college football. You just think West Coast, we're just slinging the ball
Pac-12
everywhere,
aired
trying to
out.
score as many points as possible. I don't know if maybe that's just kind of how it's played out this year, but the offenses are so potent in the West, and the defenses are ridiculous in the East. So
Yeah.
it's still playing out pretty fun. And then we got the Stars Kraken game later tonight, which I think the Stars should have won game one, but the Kraken are just playing good, solid hockey. They're not making many mistakes. But as a whole, the Stars should be like a 4-2 series for them to win that one.
Yeah, I like the Stars there. I think they're better, and I just refuse to believe a team with the logo of the Kraken can advance. It's so bad. If you had to pick one team right now to win the Stanley Cup, who do you have?
I'm gonna go with Carolina, just with the way they're playing, and their defense is so solid. Their identity hasn't been changed yet. No one's really freaking them out. But I wouldn't also be surprised if the winner of the Oilers Knights series
Yeah.
ends up coming out with the cup in their hands.
Yeah, I'm aligned with that. I think the Oilers, if they keep playing like they are and they keep playing smart hockey, I think they'll be very, very hard to beat for sure.
That's the problem. I was thinking like in my head yesterday, I was like, okay, I was literally having this thought. I was like, Oilers, Canes, I could see that being the Stanley Cup. And then I'm just like, how are they going to score on the Canes? But then I'm like, if the Oilers do score, how are the Canes going to score on keep up with the scoring of the Oilers?
Yeah.
Because they can just as easy hold you to one goal, but at the same time, you're playing the Oilers. So you're not going to go consecutive games holding them under 3 goals like Carolina is able to do with almost anybody else. Draisaitl and McDavid are too lethal.
Yeah. I just hope the series go long. I'm loving watching hockey. It's great. Really my first year watching the playoffs, and I don't know how I went this long without getting into it, but it's been awesome.
If you don't give hockey a chance,
you've been telling me forever to watch the NHL. So
if you don't watch the Stanley Cup playoffs, you're missing out a lot more than you think. And don't give me the excuse of I can't find the puck. Watch the players.
Yeah, I used to be I can't see the puck. Now I'm able to like see penalties before they're called, and it's cool.
It's a black puck on white ice. You can see the puck.
Another sport that doesn't get much love. This is a segment requested by our friend Duffy McHat.
Not a sport.
Want to touch on some college baseball. Obviously, us being Southern guys, SEC baseball is really the dominant conference for it. First off, the biggest news that's out of this year in college baseball, Alabama let their head coach go on a gambling scandal. Apparently, there was either video evidence or communication evidence of their head coach talking to someone to place some bets against them when they were playing LSU, which, I mean, honestly, you could have put the bet in pregame because LSU is way better than Alabama. So they let him go. And then with an interim manager, they took 2 out of 3 against Vandy, which is an impressive series win for Alabama. And Alabama finds themselves in 3rd place in the SEC West, which is kind of crazy.
I think they'll taper back out. Anytime a coach gets fired, teams, like I swear they always the next game or whatever, they always end up being successful usually.
Yeah, that's a big thing in soccer. You get a new manager, you're pretty much guaranteed to win your next game. But I mean, it goes one of either two ways. They ride the energy off of the series win against Vanderbilt and make a run, or they just kind of spiral out. It's hard to win in college baseball, especially when every team you play on your weekend series are elite and have talent everywhere.
It is
So
so
top
funny.
3 in the East, Vandy, Florida, South Carolina, traditional baseball powers. I think they're going to be there late. Probably, I mean, book one of them going to Omaha for sure. The West is a little bit more parity. LSU, Arkansas, and Alabama. Auburn took the second game of the series against LSU last night, which went to like 1 a.m. I fell asleep watching it in the 6th inning. Game 1, LSU, their starting pitcher Skeen struck out 15 players in 7 1/3 for Auburn. So he's dominant. The problem with LSU, though, is their bullpen and their other weekend starters. There's a big drop off. So their bullpen's really going to have to come through if they want to make a run. But like I prefaced it, it's college baseball. No one's really paying attention until late. You get to the regionals, supers, and Omaha. But I don't know, Rod, you got any big college baseball thoughts?
I don't watch too much college baseball, but I don't know. It is pretty hilarious that you would risk your job and get fired over like something. How much money can you realistically make off of Alabama and LSU playing baseball? I mean,
Yeah.
They're probably the only people who even bet on the game.
exactly right. There was also they were talking about how they pulled there was some kind of thing where the pitcher was pulled right before the game,
Mhm.
some kind of injury. So I imagine it was also partially he got fired because he was lying about people being injured. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on in Tuscaloosa the last couple
To
months.
say
But
the only thing I really have to add on to this, I saw it today. Was I think Iowa suspended a few players for gambling possibilities, like Iowa baseball. So I'm like, are we about to see like, is there like a secret big gambling ring going on in college baseball? Because if that's the case, I hope so. This would just be a very interesting story.
Yeah. I
there's
mean,
a lot of that going on in the NFL too. So it wouldn't shock me if there's some kind of like legislation or something around like sports gambling, since sports gambling is growing in popularity so much. If they ban athletes from like having accounts with like DraftKings or MGM or whatever, that wouldn't shock me because these things are just going to keep happening as the sports gambling gets more popular.
yeah, it's hard to really feel too sympathetic because everywhere you see on all these games, you always have advertised the lines, the over under, gambling commercials are getting thrown down your throat. So like,
Well, it's one thing for like professionals and like adults to do it, but like if you're a college athlete, you already know the like how stringent the NCAA is around, especially in the era of NIL. I know it's a little more free with NIL, but just the history of like money in college athletics, you would think you would be like, I probably shouldn't be doing any kind of gambling.
yeah, the head coach for Alabama really doesn't make any sense because you just gave up a guaranteed salary, comfortable living just to make a little extra cash on the side. It's so stupid. I mean, you get in the situation where I guess you get content with what you have and you want to make more, but it's hard for us to say we're not in those positions, but from the outside looking in, it seems very, very dumb. Dwell on it too much, but definitely some interesting things in Tuscaloosa. I'll be interested to see if they make a change at AD coming up. I mean,
I
it
love
seems
how
inevitable at this
sports
point.
betting is where Alabama decides to draw the line.
Yeah.
Not the other things that have occurred, but we'll see. We'll see if there's a change in regime in Tuscaloosa.
It's like when one of the small schools gets punished for a big school doing something back in the old NCAA days. Like some small school do the same thing as a big. They were just sacrificing their baseball coach to take away all the heat from all the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point too. Yeah. So that's it for college baseball. We're gonna kind of wrap up here, but we're gonna do some trivia before we get into our final thoughts. So I've got a question for y'all too. So what are the teams from the four major pro sports leagues, that's NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB, to tie or set the record for wins in a season and not win a championship?
I've got
Patriots,
two off the top:
Patriots,
Patriots and Warriors.
Bruins, Warriors, and Yankees.
Not Yankees. Y'all got, yeah, it's Patriots in 2007, obviously, the Bruins this year, the Warriors when they lost 3-1 to the Cavs,
It's not the Yankees.
not the Yankees.
2001 Yankees. Is that not, or something like that?
It is 2001.
It's not Mariners, is it?
It is the Mariners. Yes.
Shout out Elijah.
Yeah. Shout out to Elijah. Yeah.
I
the
knew it
Mariners.
was one of them because they played each other in a series, I think, or something that year. I couldn't remember. I think the Yankees are the ones who beat them.
The Mariners are the ones that tied the record. The other three beat the record, shattered the record. So the Mariners are the odd one out there, but we're Bruins. They'll go down in
They'll
history.
be fine. 6 Stanley Cups. Not worried about it. Other teams get on their knees and pray at night that they were in our position.
We'll get 7 next year.
Stairway to 7. Hey, if things work out, they'll come back even stronger than they were, but the season won't play out. Everything just lined up perfect, but they'll still be a force.
We'll get into our final thoughts then. Nick, what's your final thought?
All right. So living in Rhode Island, it's been cold since like November, right? Long winter. This past week, it's been hot again. I forgot what the sun was like. I've been sweating my ass off going outside, walk my dog. I'm much happier that it's sunny, but I forgot that heat exists. I've been so used to wearing like jackets and pants to go outside, and now getting to wear short sleeve and shorts, but sun's brutal.
Yeah, it was hot in Texas this week too, but it's always hot here. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure you have no sympathy for me, but yeah, it's a welcome change. I'm glad that it's hot again, but it's gonna take a little bit to get used to sweating.
Yeah, well, get used to it because it's I think the hottest it got here last summer, I got in my car one time and it was like 125 in my car. So that was fun.
Do you have like one of those like windshield things that like those bright silver like windshield
aluminum
things?
foil?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think everybody who lives here owns one because you have to, or else you're gonna get 3rd-degree burns when you sit on your seats.
Matt, what you got?
What you got, Matt?
Tatis owns Kershaw. He's the first player to back-to-back homer off of him since he did it himself 25 months ago. They did lose last night in that game, but it's nice to see Tatis back railing some balls over the walls. It's good to see Slam Diego at full force again. So I'm happy to see El Nino cranking it off the Dodgers.
I think
He's not cheating this year.
He never cheated. He had like ringworm or something. So he was taking this medicine that the doctors told him would work, and it just so happened there was stuff in there. You know, I'm not getting into all those details. That was propaganda from big MLB.
Kershaw was a good sport about it though, about the graphics on the video board showing him crying. They asked him about it and he was like, "Oh yeah, well, I just need to pitch better," which was surprising coming from him. So
yeah.
Kershaw's a certified bitch.
All right, Rod.
So my final thought is the Auburn Tigers are back, and that's all I have to say.
Oh no, don't do this. Don't do
I've
it.
never heard Rod be optimistic about a season ever before, right? And it always goes to plan, right?
I'm doom and gloom about Auburn, about everything. If we give up a first down in a football game, I think the game's over. So all I'm saying is we're back. Come on the show, Hugh.
Play Yahtzee with Hugh Freeze.
Oh, yeah, open invite to Hugh Freeze. We won't touch on your past, just on to the future.
Yep.
What kind of phone did you use?
We'll put out propaganda for the Freeze regime. I'm happy to do that. All right, is that all we got?
Think so. Matt, you want to close us out?
Thank y'all for listening to episode 3 of Southern Draw. Don't forget to go check out our socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. YouTube at Southern Draw Pod, and also southerndraw.substack.com. We got written content on there for you as well. From us, all of us here, thank you for listening. Please go check those out. Don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button below. Thank you for listening.